If interstellar space travel is possible, will the human species go? Will we start a colony on a planet going around another sun? It's very expensive. Even if we make little tiny ships, it's going to be hugely expensive. Lots of resources will be needed. Will we muster what it takes to do it and get ourselves growing on another planet? Well, that's a hard question to answer, but maybe an easier one is, should we do it? First thing that comes to mind is we should make a backup of ourselves. The human species is a very precious thing. We think it's incredibly rare in this galaxy and certainly rare in this solar system, and it's worth preserving, and it's fragile. We've seen species go extinct. Look at the great extinctions. The most ambitious animals seem to go first. I mean, take the polar bear, for example. We raise the temperature of the Earth a few degrees, the ice caps melt, and now all our polar bears are dying. Probably one of the top 10 most impressive animals on the planet is going to die for a small little mistake we've made. And I think that the humans are probably more robust than that, but we're still fragile. We could probably survive a really bad meteor impact. There's other dangers that we have gotten through, but who knows? There might be something in the future that's never happened before. Like, for instance, maybe the Large Hadron Collider could accidentally make a black hole that they drop, and it goes to the center of the Earth, and it sucks us, and we just implode into a tiny little black hole. Or worse than that, or more likely than that, I should say, is what if a virus, just like the common cold, you know how you breathe on each other, you give it to each other? Well, we know we've got it, we stay home. But what if the virus adapted in such a way that it showed no symptoms, incredibly contagious? People breathe on each other, and you can't tell you have it. You can still give it to other people, but you have zero symptoms for months. So you catch it, you jump on an airplane, you go kiss a loved one. While you're walking through the airport, you breathe on everybody else. While you're on the airplane, you breathe on everybody else on the airplane. They go to other cities and states and countries, and next thing you know, everybody in the world has this virus. And it has one other bad side effect. It kills you in just one more month, and everybody dies. That's species threatening. So there are species threatening events that could happen. And so we need to make a backup of humans and the other amazing species on this planet. Maybe not all of them, but maybe 1 million of them. One obvious place is Mars. We should go to Mars. It's a no-brainer. We should definitely start a colony on Mars. But Mars is, it's not as oceany as the Earth, and it's, it'll take a long time to terraform, and maybe we'll never ever get it as nice as Earth is. So there are Earth-like planets out there. The Kepler Space Telescope showed us that there are small rocky planets going around sun-like stars in the Goldilocks zone, and they're tantalizing. You just want to go there. You just want to sit on that planet. But it's going to be really costly to do that. So will we do it? Well, it's hard to know because it's so expensive. Why would a government want to start this? Because, or an individual for that matter, it's going to take more time than their own lifetime. So it will take, sort of a bunch of resources with no obvious benefits right off the bat. So you first sort of, answer is no. No one would do it. No government would spend that kind of money. They have, people who are, disadvantaged that need that money. Money's always hard to come by. But think of it this way. If one really rich person, one of these multi-billionaires, decided to start a fund that would, shoot off one of these little spaceships that could go interstellar every 10 years, it will have happened. If the event doesn't happen in one century and doesn't happen in the next century, but it does happen in the next, it doesn't matter how many more centuries it doesn't happen in. It's a ratchet. Kink. Once it happens, you can't undo it. So it's kind of like the people who used to live in Europe when the New World was discovered. I'm sure there was debates. Oh, will we go to the New World? And most people, no, I like my cups of tea. They're not going to want to move out of their comfort zone. But a few people will, just a few. They'll move to the New World, the United States, and start this whole new colony growing. And then it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. All the people in Europe can say, no, we shouldn't go to the New World. Doesn't matter. It's happened. It's going to keep going. So you only need one yes, and it happens. You can have as many no's as you want, but one person, one government decides to do this, and it happens. And we have a good reason to go. So I feel it will happen. There is a huge chance that if interstellar space travel is possible, we will go. And when we go, it will take a long time. I agree. It's 1,000 years of maybe terraforming, because you got to get that oxygen up, and then you got to send these ships and grow one animal after another. And so that's going to take a long time, but it will happen. Maybe in 10,000 years, we'll have Earth 2 or 3 or 4. Why would we do this just to one planet on one star? We could send one, we could start another Earth over there, and then another one over there, and then another one there, and another one there. So we could start lots of new Earths growing. But let's pick a number. Let's say 3. Let's say Earth 1 starts Earth 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now there's 3 new Earths. Well, they're going to be just like us, right? They've just got the same DNA. We're going to send them all our technology. They'll have all our technology. Well, if we're going to send spaceships, they're going to send spaceships. So let's say each one of those 3 send out 3 each. So there's now 9 new ones, as well as the 3 medium ones and the original old one. And every, let's say 10,000, let's make it 100,000 years, we get another set of this exponential expansion as the sphere expands. This sphere of traveling little ships taking human and other DNA to further and further stars as we go across the galaxy. Well, how many Earth-like planets are there in this galaxy? Well, Kepler says 30 to 40 billion. Well, if every one of them sends out probes to 3 others, how many times would that have to happen before we've colonized the entire Milky Way galaxy? Well, 3 to the 22, so 22 iterations of this, is all it takes to get sort of our descendants on every single sort of Earth-like planet in our galaxy. 22 times, let's say, did we say 100,000 years? So 2.2 million years. 2 million years is all it will take. That's nothing in geologic time. Geologically speaking, 2 million years, my gosh, we've barely been walking upright for that amount of time. I mean, that's an evolutionary just blip. It's a flash. It's a whoosh. Whoosh is a concept that I feel is a great description of what life does. If you put a lily pad in a lily pond and it doubles every day, it can cover gigantic ponds in only a few days because of this exponential whoosh concept. I mean, look at human beings. We hid in a corner in Africa for millions of years, and then we figured out how to move around. Whoosh! We were on every corner of the planet in a couple of thousands of years. So life, when it figures out a way to get from one place to another, it does it in an exponential fashion. So I feel that we, or some other being, will, once they discover how to move their genetic code from one